with a lot of practice. For that reason, when we're reading a book, we exercise a lot more our brain. And not only that, but when you're watching a movie, everything is being presented to you in first hand. Everything comes to you so easily. You don't have to make a lot of effort to understand what is in the screen. You have the face expressions, you have the music to set the tone, you have the whole story being presented to you in a very easy way. However, when you're reading a book, you have to create a whole environment. You need to be the one developing those characters. You are the one creating the new universe, how their voices sound, how are their faces, their expressions. So you are working a lot more your brain on that sense. Now, when it comes to the emotional and social development that we get from books and from movies, it is a lot different too. The study shows that when you are reading a book, you develop a lot more your sense of empathy, because you need to be the one feeling that when you read the story. When you're watching a movie, you have a lot of other social cues to indicate how you should feel. Instead of actually feeling those pains and those emotions from the characters in the screen, you just mimic whatever you see. If the music is a happy music, then you feel happy. If your faces and expressions are happy or sad, then you feel like that as well. However, when you're reading a book, you are the one trying to understand what that actually makes you feel as a reader, and not just how that makes the character feel. So you don't have the music to set the tone, or you don't even have the faces expressions. Sometimes you don't even know how the character felt on that moment. You are the one judging the situations and trying to understand how you feel about it. So for that reason, you develop a lot more empathy power those characters. Now, when it comes to our memory, we have a lot of memory retention from reading the books instead of from watching the movie. Because when you're reading, you don't spend just 1 hour and a half. You spend days, sometimes even weeks or a month to finish a story. You engage with those characters multiple times throughout your day. You're reading, you're engaging, you're creating them. You're imagining how they sound, their faces. You are the one creating the story in your own head. So for you to forget all of those details that you created yourself, it's a lot harder. But when you have all of those things presented to you, it's a lot easier to forget. The movie passes so fast. The scenes are so fast-paced that sometimes you don't even have time to process all of the information that are being presented to you. When you're reading a book, that's not the case. You spend a lot of time reading about that scene, reading about those characters, so it's a lot harder to forget. That shows that when you're reading, you get a lot more from brain development than when you're watching. But does that mean that one is better than the other? I'm not trying to show you which one to pick for your entertainment. Both entertainments are good. I'm trying to present to you I'm trying to present to you the information so you can be the one to decide which one, either a movie or a book, is going to be better for a situation that you're at. If you want to relax after a stressful day at work, maybe you don't want to think a lot. You don't want to work your brain a lot and make a lot of effort to understand something. You just want something quick and easy. So maybe a movie would be more interesting for that reason. But if you want to actually engage with the characters, or if you want to work on your ability to feel empathy, or in your mental development, then maybe a book will be more interesting. So for that reason, now you have the tools to understand which one is better for you to pick in different scenarios, and understand how both entertainments affect your brain and your life for different situations. Thank you so much for your time and for the attention you gave me.